Welcome to Would I Lie to You, the show with barefaced lies and well-masked truths. On David Mitchell's team tonight, a comedian and writer back for more, it's Sarah Pascoe. And from Slow Horses, and this is gonna hurt, it's actor Kadiff Kirwan. On Lee Mack's team tonight, YouTuber turned sitcom star from Things You Should Have Done, it's Lucia Keshin. And he's the Bard of Salford, it's the one and only John Cooper Clarke. We begin with round one, Home Truths, where our panellists read out a statement from the card in front of them. To make things harder, they've never seen the card before. They have no idea what they'll be faced with. It's up to the opposing team to sort the fact from the fiction. Sarah is first tonight.
I recently booked a sleep consultant, but stood them down when they told me what they were planning to do.
Oh,
right. Lee's
interesting. How long have you had problems sleeping?
It isn't actually for me.
Oh.
I have 2 small children.
Right, they're not that big, surely.
Is that not right?
I think it's not a sleep consultant you need to see, it's a paediatrician.
There's a huge industry now of sleep experts, because babies aren't born knowing how to sleep.
Sorry?
Yeah? So they will go to sleep for short periods, but they wake up all the time because they don't know how to get themselves back to sleep.
Let's give us a picture now. How often were they waking up on a typical night?
So the 7-month-old, and it's not his fault, but he's waking every sleep cycle, which is every 90 minutes.
Ooh,
and then the 2-year-old, he will sleep for like 4 or 5 hours, but then he will get up.
You're not working tonight, you're on a break.
The truth is, it's my birthday. This was how I got out of being at my house.
Well, two things, Sarah.
Yeah.
So, first of all, happy birthday.
Thank you.
Secondly, what was the advice given?
So the sleep consultant said she would tell the toddler she was a sleep fairy and that she'd put fairy dust on our door and we couldn't come out until morning.
So what is she saying that the fairy dust did?
Locks the door.
Right.
I'm locking your parents into that room. Yeah. They cannot get out. Now go to sleep. So the toddler wakes up.
Yes.
I'm awake, Mother. Father, I'm awake. Let's play.
What if you made him a Victorian ghost?
What happens then?
She said that she would say, you have to go back to bed, I'm the sleep fairy.
That's what she's told you.
Yeah.
The second they go off to sleep, she's having a little nap, right?
She won't have a very long one, because my kids wake up all the time.
Was she expensive?
Incredibly expensive.
How much?
About £500.
Per night?
Per night, yeah.
Ooh.
Well, that's, you know.
What did your partner make of this?
He wasn't there.
He's moved to a hotel where it's He's got to see the Premier Inn Fairy.
Which is actually less than £500 a night.
So, Lee, were there ever any sleep issues with your children? Would you just start doing bits of the act and they would...
I'm not going to respond to you, Rob, because I find that kind of banter a bit mock the weak.
What do you reckon, John?
The language of psychology, which I imagine would come into it, surely it'd be wasted on children of that age.
So you think it's implausible?
Yeah.
Lucia, what about you?
I think it could be true.
You do?
Because?
Just sounds true.
I'm going to go with John. John has lived on this planet for a lot longer than Lucia. He knows the difference.
What do you mean?
Well, you're younger.
What did you think he meant?
It could mean that one of you had moved planets, so they'd been on another planet. Obviously, if Lucia is secretly an alien, she thinks she's just been discovered. What are you talking about? How do you know?
We are going to go with John, and we are going to say lie.
You think it's a lie? Okay, so, Sarah, truth or lie?
John, it was, of course, true.
Next time I'm listening to you.
Yes, it's true. Sarah did stand down a sleep consultant. John, you're next.
I charge £500 a night to stop the little ones crying.
John.
I once got fired from an advertising campaign for being too honest about the product.
David's team.
Oh, okay, well,
Good, isn't it?
what was the product?
It was a brand of gin.
And you were approached to be the face of the gin?
No, it was. I was approached to write a jingle.
A jingle.
Yes, indeed, a
Yes.
jingle.
Do you remember any of the verses?
Yeah. I'm going to say it's David Mitchell's gin, because it's got the right amount of syllables. At the public bar of any welcoming inn, he's the geezer with the goofy grin. What got him into the state he's in? David Mitchell's gin.
Beautiful.
Do you want to hear the Christmas special?
Yes, please.
By the way, we're edging towards true on
Yeah,
this
I
one.
think
I tasted this gin for the fun and frolics, but guess what it tasted like?
Notify your next of kin. Christmas is coming, better get some in. Say goodbye to self-discipline with David Mitchell.
So did you go in and present these to them? And I mean, how did the breakup go?
Well, they said, it's not quite the image we're looking for.
The idea that people don't buy gin because it gets them drunk is absurd. That's what they want. Buy this and it will change your state of mind in a way you will probably like and possibly over time come to depend upon.
What do you think, Sarah?
I thought that improvising poetry was going to be like impossible, so it's definitely true. But then Lee did it, and I was like, it
There was
can
a young
be
woman from
done.
China who had an enormous... It's dead easy.
I mean, that's a lot of poetry to have made up on the spot, but obviously if anyone can do it, John can.
Exactly.
But then
Thanks,
another point
David.
is, if he has invented all that on the spot, he kind of deserves the point.
Yes.
This is true. Yeah. So you're saying, therefore...
We're going to go true.
Okay, they're saying it's true. John, was it true or was it a lie?
It was true.
It's true. John was fired for being too honest. Lucia, you're up next.
I once accidentally gate crashed the BBC News.
David's team.
Oh, how did you find yourself wandering into the news?
It was the 25th anniversary of the TV show Friends.
All right.
And what's your connection with Friends? You weren't in Friends, were you?
No. I did like a video where I created the whole episode.
One of your YouTube
Yeah.
sort of pastiches was
and
of
they
Friends.
sort of assumed I was a super fan.
So you were invited onto the programme?
It was on a sort of Skype, Zoom
Oh, right.
thing. And 5 minutes before we were about to go on, I lost signal. So I called them back and they were currently in a Brexit negotiation.
They were literally
were- so
negotiating Brexit?
That was the segment before.
That was
yeah.
what they were talking about.
So I phoned them back, and then I get a text from my friend saying, your face has just come up on the screen on the BBC News that you're calling the news. Went, over the interview, and there my face pops up.
And your friend texts you to say that?
Well, my mum upstairs. No,
So you said it was your friend, it was your mum.
it was my mum.
You can be friends with your mum. Friends with your mum, yeah.
Yes, I know,
I
it's
know
an
that,
odd
but
way
it's-
to refer
I'm
to your
friends
mum.
with your mum.
Yeah.
Oh, what's wrong being wrong? I like your mum. I'm a friend of your mum. What do you think I meant? There's something wrong with you, Rob.
So your
God,
mum...
you sleep with a woman once and it's a problem. Get over it.
She did say, she said to me, she said, Rob, you know how you're always saying how Lee is so quick? She said. Well, what do we think then? Kadiff?
I feel it would happen to you.
I want it to be true
Yeah.
so much that I'm going to say it's true.
Yeah.
Well, I think we think it's true.
Yeah.
Right, Lucia. Was it true or was it a lie?
It was true.
It's true. And you're going to love this. Here is proof of this awkward and unexpected moment.
They will open the withdrawal agreement. Maybe there is some hope for cosmetic changes.
Our next round is called This Is My, where we bring on a mystery guest who has a close connection to one of our panellists. This week, each of David's team will claim it's them that has the genuine connection to the guest. It's up to Lee's team to spot who's telling the truth. So please welcome this week's special guest, Mary. So, Kadiff, what is Mary to you?
This is Mary. When I pretended to deliver a baby, she actually passed out.
Right. Sarah, how do you know Mary?
This is Mary. As a schoolgirl, I thought that my magical powers had made her fall into a lake.
Finally, David, what is your relationship with Mary?
This is Mary, and I was responsible for breaking one part of her ankle, and you, Lee, were responsible for breaking another.
So there we have it. Kadiff's fainting friend, Sarah's soggy sidekick, or David's pained pal. Lee's team, where will you start?
David. We said we'd never speak of that night. Okay, where do we want to start? Kadiff?
Yeah.
Right. Why were you pretending to deliver a baby?
Because I'm an actor and I was acting.
And where? Which drama school are you at?
I went to the Royal Central School of Speech and Drama.
Right.
They turned me down, Central.
Ah, how come? What did you sing?
Well, I think what Kadiff is referring to is that in the audition you have to sing a song.
Yeah.
That's right, I sang.
I thought you were having a go at his singing.
Yeah.
There's no need for your involvement.
What show were you in?
I was in a show called This Is Going to Hurt.
Right.
I played a obs and gynae doctor and I was delivering a baby by C-section.
Right. And is Mary an actor?
No, Mary's not an actor. Mary was an SA on the day. So
Supporting artist.
Supporting artist. She was my obstetrics nurse next to me.
So she's playing a nurse.
Yeah.
You're playing the person doing a C-section.
Yeah, we got taught all of the fingering and all of the knife work. So
Right.
So you're cutting into some sort of latexy type thing.
yeah, so say I am the lady who's about to give birth.
Okay.
So both her legs were here, prosthetic legs. Her real legs were underneath, and on top of her was the belly.
And when you cut in, what's underneath the...
You release the blood pack.
Oh,
And I'm assuming at the end, there's a fake baby in there.
No. The baby gets handed out. They would have cut away and then
yeah. Because that would be a bit unfair to use a real baby and go, we'll be with you in about an hour.
So Mary actually came and brought the knives towards me, and I was just doing the incision and blah blah blah, and then I just heard a thud, and it was like a cartoon. Her legs went up in the air, and it was just
Her real legs or her fake legs? And what do you do then? You forget who you are and say, don't worry, I'm qualified, I can deal with this.
No, thankfully, because it was a set with real doctors on there, she got seen to, and we continued the day. Actually, she was a proper trooper, actually, to be fair.
No one's ever come on the show before, stood there and put their hands in the pockets, and I wonder if hands are full of blood and...
right, who would you like to quiz next?
Sarah.
Remind us, Sarah, of what yours...
Okay, this is Mary. As a schoolgirl, I thought that my magic powers had made her fall into a lake.
Right. How old were you?
11?
And she was in your class? She was your friend?
No, Mary, Miss Cooper to me, obviously looks amazing, but she was my teacher.
Mary, you look very young.
Yeah.
Well, that face said to me, don't care, it's not true. What was the magic?
Well, I'd written a story
Right.
where Miss Cooper was humiliated in front of the entire school on a school trip by falling into a lake.
You wrote the story as part of a lesson or in home time?
As kind of revenge.
Why?
I was in the first year at secondary school and Miss Cooper accused me of cheating, and I wasn't cheating. And I was
Whoa, let's get to the bottom of this story.
Yeah, thank you.
Because already just the way you said it, when you went, she accused me of cheating, but I wasn't cheating.
I wasn't.
We're all thinking, you were cheating, weren't you?
No, I wasn't.
What were you accused?
Don't make me write a little story about you, Lee.
Which subject was this?
Geography.
Geography.
Right. Where did you go to school?
I went to school in Upminster in Essex.
Okay. I like the fact you knew it was in Essex. You're good at geography, I'll give you that.
How was she humiliated in the story?
There was a trip and the entire school was there and she was trying to talk to us about geography. It was the White Cliffs of Dover and she fell. And she just, whoa! And then everyone's laughing and pointing at her and she comes out and she's got like weeds in her hair.
Just to be clear, this is all in the story?
Yeah.
So what happened in real life that made you think you'd done it?
Exactly that.
We had a school trip and a very similar thing happened. Some details were different, but...
Did she fall into water?
Yeah, like a reservoir.
Reservoir?
Yeah.
And you then feel...
I either thought God was real,
Yeah.
or I thought I had magic powers.
But she never knew that you'd written the story.
I did have to apologise to her.
After this event?
Months later, yeah.
How did that conversation go?
I don't think she believed me that it was my story that did it.
Well, that's true.
I think she may have been right.
If you didn't like her,
Yeah.
why were you telling her?
It was just low level, like, watch yourself. Like, this is the kind of thing that can happen if you accuse people of things.
Okay.
David, remind us of your relationship.
This is Mary, and I was responsible for breaking one part of her ankle.
Oh, yeah.
And you, Lee, were responsible for breaking another.
What the hell are you talking about?
Well, Mary was watching this programme on a laptop while she was on a running machine.
Right.
And then you said something that amused her.
No way.
I know. And she laughed so much, she fell off the running machine and hurt her ankle. But it wasn't that bad, because it wasn't that funny. So she got back on the running machine, and then I said something that was properly funny. And she fell off again, obviously, and this time it was a much more serious level of injury.
What happened when I said something?
Well, you know, she would have known it was the next round. She'd hurt her ankle and she then sought medical treatment, got it x-rayed, and it was broken in 2 places.
How do you know her? Did she contact you?
I don't know her.
I know you don't. You've never even heard of her till about 30 seconds ago.
I've heard about this accident through the production.
Right.
I sent her a card.
You didn't?
I did, yes.
What did you write in this card?
Something nice, you know, get well soon, I'm sorry about the breakage.
Get well soon, I'm sorry about the breakage. What comes from the heart with you, it just pours out, doesn't it?
Right, we need an answer. So, Lee's team. Is Mary Kadiff's fainting friend, Sarah's soggy sidekick, or David's pained pal?
Let's take them individually.
Yeah.
Kadiff, I mean, there's some definite facts in this. I didn't see the programme. Did you see it?
Yeah.
Do you remember a C-section?
No.
Oh, well, that's the end of that round then. There was no C-section.
Unless I've forgotten about it.
If you don't mind me saying, you are literally no help.
What about Sarah's story?
Right, so, the bit that I don't believe about Sarah's story is that she wasn't cheating.
Now, what about David?
I think Lee would have heard about it.
Well, not necessarily.
If he'd made somebody laugh.
About the broken...
What do you think of David?
I don't think David's. I think Sarah or Kadiff could be true.
David, you're
David
discounting.
least true, but could be.
Impossible. So just to clarify, they could all be true. Next week, can I have someone here, me here, and just a coin? And I'll just... I don't know. I genuinely don't know.
No,
It could be all three.
I honestly
It can't be all three, can it? Is that
I'll rephrase that. It could be any of them. And only one of them.
Come on, let's make a decision.
We're doing a vote here. One of the three.
David?
You're going with David. Okay.
If I can't decide between Sarah and Kadiff, maybe go for David.
I think that's quite often how juries on literary awards work.
Lost again, did you?
Lee, take control, make a decision.
We'll go Kadiff.
You're saying Kadiff, right. They think it's Kadiff. Mary, would you please reveal your true identity?
I'm Mary, and David and Lee broke my ankle.
Yes, Mary is David's paying pal. Thank you very much, Mary. Which brings us to our final round, quickfire lies, and we start with... It's Lee.
Possession.
Okay, take a look under your desk. There's an item there. Just take the cloth off, okay? Lovely. It's one of those swimming pool things. Now would you read the card?
I know, because it's mine. This is my poster. I bought it to remind me of the time I was asked to leave my local pool for breaking all 9 rules in one visit. We've got can to refrain from running, pushing, acrobatics or gymnastics, shouting, ducking, petting, bombing, swimming in the diving area, smoking. Just put that on there. Rob, maybe just tilt it back a bit more towards me.
Now, when was this, Lee, first of all?
Well, let's just say I was young enough to be immature, but old enough to smoke.
Where's the pool, Lee?
It's in the local swimming baths.
Where's local to you?
Oh, it's very close. I was 17.
With your friends?
Well, my friend.
Who is your friend?
It was my mate, Bri.
Is that who you were petting?
Bri was not a boy.
Oh.
Bryony. But I called her Bri.
Oh, lovely stuff.
She was there with a sweet smile and her twinkly eyes, and I was there with me Veruca. And we were excited. We were holding hands and we started to run. And that was the first. The whistle blew. Like that. And I said, I'm not sure, Bri, you should have a whistle when we're going swimming. She said, no, that was the lifeguard over there, the lifeguard. No, run it! And you know what it's like in the baths, yeah. You what? All right, I can't hear you, mate. I said, I'll come to you. I sprinted over. He said, no running. I said, oh, sorry. So I ran back. And
okay, what was the next violation?
Well, then she didn't want to get in, obviously. She was nervous. So I pushed her in, and the whistle blew again. I sprinted over. I warned you. I haven't pushed anyone before, know about the running. Oh, yes, sorry. You're not allowed to push people in.
Oh, no.
You pushed her in because
Well, it was gentle. It
she was
just
nervous.
She was worried about the temperature.
Oh, I see.
Bryony.
Yeah.
What was the next one?
Well,
may I suggest bombing?
Oh, well, we
Because
could.
you're still outside the pool, so we could get that done now.
I'm still out, she's in.
Oh, right, sorry.
I've jumped in, but I wasn't looking, was I? I've only gone and landed on her shoulders. And, whistle. What now? Don't shout!
And that's the shouting.
You went, there's no acrobatic or gymnastics! I said, I want to do it, I just landed when I jumped in. She's holding on to my ankle, she's not an idiot. I was having this conversation for 2 or 3 minutes before I realised we were in the deep end and she was under the water. And so, yeah.
So what happens next?
I've got angry with her. I shouldn't have done it, but I just, like that, and I just dumped her. I basically put her head under the water for a second. Just for a second.
for a
I
second.
said, hey! She said, no ducking! I said, we're not doing that.
I'm wondering how you're going to get, with her in this state, to petting.
I don't know.
Maybe a cigarette break would help.
I apologised to Bri. And we got a little bit amorous. We kissed passionately. As passionate as you can as a repressed northern man of a certain age.
Yeah. In a slightly too cold swimming pool.
Yeah.
So I imagine it wasn't long before the whistle sounded.
Oh, that was it. No heavy petting. So I said, sorry. And I got out. And that's when I spotted a German dam. And I decided to bomb it. And I didn't see a German dam, but I did see 3 German people together, and I thought it would be funny if I recreated the film Dam Busters. And I went all over them.
How could you tell they were German?
How did I tell?
Yeah, yes.
They were on the far right of the pool. And of course the uniforms.
And how many have you left to tick off now?
Well, because I'd kissed her passionately,
Yes.
in my weird way I felt we had consummated the relationship.
Yes.
So I had a cigarette.
And was it at this point that the lifeguard had enough?
You,
Oh, no.
get out the pool.
No.
I just said, I'm sorry, but I only thought that applied to people called Will patrons.
All right, so there it is now. It's been very detailed. I surely couldn't have made that up.
There's a lot of recall there of clearly genuine events.
Kadiff, what do you reckon?
No.
No, what?
Well, it's, it might not be true.
But we had a lovely time, didn't we?
Exactly.
So they think it's a lie. Was it a lie, Lee, or was it true?
It's a lie.
It's a lie. Lee didn't break all 9 pool rules in one day. That noise signals time is up. It's the end of the show, and I can reveal that David's team has won by 5 points to 0.
Well done, guys.
Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time. Good night.
Walls come tumbling down as Amanda and Alan take on the second guest bedroom and bathroom on their Spanish job next.
Welcome to Would I Lie to You, the show in which it pays to be economical with the truth. On Lee Mack's team tonight, a stand-up comic who is back for more. It's Shazia Mirza. And from Gladiators, it's Matt Morsia, a.k.a. Legend. And on David Mitchell's team tonight, joining us for his first time, it's comedian Josh Jones. And an award-winning podcaster and TV presenter, it's Rosie Ramsey. We start with round 1, Home Truths, where our panellists read out a statement from the card in front of them. To make things harder, they've never seen the card before. They've got no idea what they'll be faced with. It's up to the opposing team to sort the fact from the fiction. First up, it's Josh.
I once jumped in a canal because a goose honked at me.
Lee's team.
What was the goose driving?
So, I'm scared of geese, right? And I'm walking down the canal in Manchester. There was a brick wall on one side of me, so I was trapped because there was a wall in the water.
Yeah.
And one goose was asleep, so I like sneaked past it. And then this other goose came in the middle and like quacked. So, and I don't speak goose, but it sounded not like a compliment. So then I went to turn around, and then the other goose was awake.
Oh, no.
I panicked and jumped in the water.
Classic.
You jumped in?
Yeah, jumped in. Pencil dive.
Not knowing how deep it's going to be.
I know those waters quite well because I used to go canoeing on the canals in Manchester when I was a kid.
In what circumstances were you canoeing?
Oh, so every Sunday I used to be in a canoeing club because they wanted to try and keep kids out of gangs. Well, it was on a Sunday morning at 9 o'clock, which doesn't feel like a big gang time to me, but that's when it was.
And how deep was it? Did you touch the bottom?
It was about hip height.
Doing a pencil dive was quite a penetrative dive. Did you go straight to the bottom? And...
Oh, no, but I bent my knees, you know, and...
So not strictly a pencil dive, then?
Well, by the time I landed, it was pencil.
That sounds like quite a controlled manoeuvre rather than a man, yeah, in
You're
in a
not the
state of
only
panic.
athlete here.
You jumped in, and
Yes.
what was the immediate aftermath?
Well, I kind of just stood there for about, I'm going to say...
You stood in the canal?
Yeah,
You
for like a solid 90 seconds, just kind of looked at the goose. The goose just started to look really confused.
Which goose?
Then, the aggressive one, that was the one close to me.
Oh, it was good goose, bad goose?
Yeah.
I think it's like bad goose, apathetic goose.
Yeah, and then I just stood out of the water, walked past the goose, and I remember saying out loud to myself, I think you might have overreacted there, John.
You got out of the water and you walked past the goose.
Yeah, because...
Negate the... Surely you go past the goose, then get out the water, otherwise you just jumped in and then got back straight to where you were.
the whole story was pointless. What happened was... I jumped in the water, realised the goose was kind of chill by this point, and then just thought, I'm going to risk it.
What colour was the goose?
Like, brown.
Black and brown?
With a black head.
I think that's the Canadian goose, isn't it?
Well, it might have been on holiday in Manchester, because it was there with me.
The other side of the canal, was that not an option to continue through the canal to the
No,
other
it
side?
was people's gardens, and it was already getting weird enough. I didn't want to go in. Johnny said, having a cup of tea, what you doing? I'm running from a goose. I mean, that's not going to make my community look very good, is it? We're already seen as being dramatic, so I just...
All right, let's take a guess. Shazia.
I think it's a lie. It's just too outrageous.
I think it's true. You strike me as the kind of guy that would do exactly that. So I can literally picture him doing it. Do you know what I mean? I'm about 70% sure it's true.
So 70%, how can you measure it?
How sure are you that it's a lie as a percentage?
50%?
That's how we started! It was 50-50 before we started all this! And you've got... Oh, that's definitely still 50%.
Right, what's it going to be, Lee?
I've been persuaded by you that it's a lie.
How's that
Oh,
persuaded
don't be
you?
persuaded by me.
Not you, I mean that spiel, not... I don't mean that, I mean like the things you said. How has that series
Don't
of...
say it again! Don't keep saying it!
Series of things that she said, how has that persuaded you?
Because I think she was very good in her argument, just not great at her maths.
I'm going to go with Matt.
All right, I'll say it's true. I think it's a lie, but you do think it's true.
That is weak leadership. You said lie.
I'm a weak man! I'm a very weak man. There's a reason I didn't pass the test for Gladiator.
Yeah, but where is it?
Gladiator's ready! And I went, not really.
Lee, mate, come on, let's go. Go with it.
Right.
You initially said
Will you
lie.
say it's a lie?
You said it's a lie?
Yes!
Okay, Josh, was it lie or was it the truth?
It's true!
Yes, it's true. Josh did jump in a canal because of a goose. Matt, you're next.
Okay. Sorry, that's just my ritual. I'm just trying to build. I'm trying to build the anticipation. Whenever I eat a banana, I eat everything. Including the skin.
David's team.
Oh, that's a good one.
So why do you do that?
A number of reasons. Firstly, easier. How much time do you spend peeling a banana? What do you say on average? I'm literally saving hours of time a year while you morons are peeling bananas. I'm out.
I take your point.
So that's reason
it's
one.
A time saver.
Reason one.
Okay.
Reason two, there are so many health benefits to eating a banana skin.
Like what?
Skin health.
And also afterwards, you don't slip on it.
So banana skins are
Kidney
good
health.
for human skin.
There's all kinds of nutrients, fibre, loads of good stuff in there.
Which end do you prefer?
The non-stalk end,
The
obviously.
classic chat-up line of Rob Brydon, ladies and gentlemen.
I mean,
You'll have to excuse my friend, he's not been speed dating before.
so you've used this then as part of your regime.
Yes.
This is part of how you've got a better body than Lee.
Better for what, though? I mean, try joining a darts team looking like that, mate. No chance.
Can I ask you as well, were you doing press-ups and bicep curls literally seconds before you came out here? Or is that you in a relaxed
It's a very
state?
vascular guy, yeah. No, this is me in a relaxed state.
Vascular.
Nice.
It's a strong look.
Thanks, mate.
You flirting, Rob?
A little bit.
It's working, Rob.
What have you eaten today?
So, Rob, let's start a breakfast.
Cornflakes and the box.
I had a protein shake comprising of 2 scoops of protein.
Protein like from a lab?
Or protein? It's a whey protein, it's a powdered form.
So you have a whey protein-based shake for...
Does this pertain to the banana skin consuming? I'm thinking
We want
way
an
off.
overall picture, and I'll thank you just to answer our questions and not question them. It's your first time on the show, Matt.
That's my bad.
You're very sure of yourself, but you'll play the game our way or no way at all.
No whey-based protein at all?
Yeah, you see, that's the sort of stuff we do.
And me, you just pointed at you two. Can I be in the gang as well?
I want to know how it comes out the other end.
You don't think it comes back together as a whole banana?
You must give it a good chew, I imagine.
Yes, although over time, my swallowing mechanism has developed to allow me to swallow bigger chunks of banana
Me
skin.
too, me too.
It's time to take a guess. Truth or lie?
What do you think?
I think it's true.
You think it's a lie?
Who's eating a banana with the skin on?
Him.
True.
You thinking it's true? Okay. Matt, was it true or was it a lie?
You'll be glad to know, David, that it was in fact a lie.
Sorry.
Yes, it's a lie. Matt does not eat banana skins. Shazia, you're next.
I once got into big trouble at work after my boss saw what I was doing on CCTV.
David's team.
Right. Where were you working?
It was a food shop.
A supermarket.
No, it was a restaurant.
Okay. In a sense, a restaurant's a food shop. Yes. But in another sense, it isn't.
Well, there's food involved. I was selling food there, like ice creams and stuff.
It was an ice cream shop.
No, it was a restaurant. We've already established it was the type of food shop that's called, it's not a supermarket, it's a restaurant.
But you were caught on CCTV. What were you doing?
I made up some ice creams.
So the ice creams you were caught on CCTV selling were not ice creams on the restaurant menu?
Yes.
I don't even know what yes means now.
Is it just an ice cream restaurant, or is it a restaurant that, amongst other things, sells ice cream?
It was a shop.
Genuinely, I feel like watching this back on television and it's been badly edited.
Okay, it's ice cream shop.
What's it called?
Baskin Robbins.
What?
Oh, so that's a huge ice cream place.
Yeah, but it sells other things, doesn't it?
Where is this Baskin Robbins?
It's in Birmingham.
Birmingham. And the year?
2000 and...
Keep it below 24 is my advice.
2006.
So you're in Baskin Robbins,
Yeah.
and you said you sold your own ice cream.
No, I didn't sell my own. I made it up. Chocolate and vanilla is boring, isn't it? So I mixed the two together and made it like chocolatey banana-y.
How did you make it banana-y? Just using chocolate and vanilla?
I added some bananas in it.
So now you talked about getting into trouble. How did the trouble come along?
One day, some boy band came in.
Which boy band?
Duran Duran.
You're saying Duran Duran came in?
Simon Le Bon came in.
Just him?
Yeah.
Not the whole band?
No.
Hey, how hungry was he?
Hungry like a wolf.
Did he say, what's your special? Please, please, tell me now.
Don't look at me, I haven't got a clue.
You're in there, Simon Le Bon is chatting away. What happens?
He says, can I have an ice cream? I said yes. And then he says, what do you recommend?
Oh.
Now it's got interesting.
And then I
It's taken an hour, but here we are.
I just mixed a few flavours up and I served that to him. He really enjoyed it, apparently. And then he sent in some other band member of his band the next day to come and try.
Which one was it?
Which one?
It was the one that wears a lot of makeup.
Nick Rhodes.
Yeah, that one. Simon told the other one that...
And if Simon tells them they have to do it, that's the game, isn't it?
No. You've got to go in there, they do amazing ice creams, and the girl behind the counter, she will do you something you've never seen before.
She'll literally do 3 different flavours scooped next to each other, even though, as we all know, that's illegal.
So how did you get into trouble?
It was seen on CCTV that I was mixing...
A little bit from here, a little bit
Well, who's
from
not
there.
going to want to watch that, because it's gripping viewing, isn't it?
What was your punishment?
I got a letter of warning.
An official warning?
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
What are you thinking there, David?
I'm thinking that I can't remember before the time we were discussing this.
Is what she just said true?
We're saying it's true.
What?
Yep.
The holes in the story.
Yes, but she's not trying to convince us at all. That's a clear hallmark of someone who's got a truth on a card and is trying to make it sound like nonsense. The fact it moved from food shop to restaurant to ice cream parlour means it was always an ice cream parlour. It was always Simon Le Bon. She was trying to make it sound unconvincing. Well, I'm not having it.
You're going to overrule...
It's true.
So you're going to overrule the only woman on your panel. That's a shame.
And a gay.
Okay, they think it's true. So, Shazia,
Yes?
here we go. Was it true or was it a lie?
I'm afraid it was true.
Yes, it's true. Shazia did get in trouble when she was caught on CCTV. Our next round is called This Is My, where we bring on a mystery guest who has a close connection to one of our panellists. This week, each of David's team will claim it's them that has the genuine connection to the guest. It's up to Lee's team to spot who's telling the truth. So please welcome this week's special guest, Ryan. So, Rosie, what is Ryan to you?
Yeah, this is Ryan. He went viral after I secretly filmed him singing in the car.
Josh, how do you know Ryan?
This is Ryan, and I was forced to take part in a hot dog eating contest with him.
And David, what is your relationship with Ryan?
This is Ryan, and he let me have a go at painting a parking space with his special contraption.
So, there we have it. Rosie's musical mate, Josh's hungry helper, or David's paint pal. Lee's team, where will you begin?
Would you mind just telling us again, Rosie? Sorry.
This is Ryan, and he went viral when I filmed him singing in the car.
What was he singing?
I will do anything for love, but I won't do that.
Why? What were you asking him to do?
He was driving me home.
He was driving you home?
He's a driver that we sometimes use. Me and Chris, my husband.
So you are the back seat?
Yes.
With Chris at this time?
No, Chris wasn't there.
He is doing the singing?
Yeah, he was singing.
And what were you doing?
I was trying to sleep in the back, if I'm honest with you.
So you're creepily filming behind his head.
So I could see the back of his head. I couldn't see his face.
But how is that? That's gone viral.
Yeah.
The back of his head singing.
Yeah.
I find that hard to believe.
Well, to be fair, if it was the back of his head singing, that would go viral. If that hair parted and there was some lips, I'd watch that.
What's viral?
It got 5 million views.
5 million? Him singing that back of his head?
Yeah.
Has he got a beautiful voice?
Yeah, he was singing Meatloaf, and he sounds like Meatloaf.
Was he singing along to the radio?
Yeah.
And he sounded like Meatloaf?
Yeah.
And you couldn't see his lips moving? Can you see where I'm going with it? I think there's a possibility that all you've done is record the radio.
Where did you post it?
Instagram.
How many followers have you got?
I've got about 950,000 followers.
I don't know much about this world. Is that good?
Good, yeah, it's good.
It's nearly a
How many
million.
have you got? How many have you got? I want to gauge what's good and bad.
200,000.
That's good,
That's
is
good.
it? That's good. Have you got followers?
1.1 million.
1.1 million?
Yeah.
Oh, did you
Wow.
buy them?
That's it.
Things that go viral on the internet are
back
generally
of
you can see their face.
Yeah.
Or not some of the ones I've seen.
Were you filming on just a phone?
Yeah.
Because the microphone on the phone is pretty poor. If you're sat behind him in a noisy car on a motorway, radio's going, you're behind him, your story is falling apart. There is no way in a million years.
Hey, Matt, can I ask you this? Is there anything that you don't know a little bit about? Okay. How do you know Ryan, Josh?
So this is Ryan, and I was forced to take part in a hot dog eating contest with him.
When was this?
About 10 years ago. It was the opening of a new hot dog restaurant, and there was
A hot dog restaurant?
Yeah.
Were you with him?
We lived together. I lived with him and a bunch of other Viking reenactors, because he's a Viking reenactor.
Now, for the first time in the whole evening, I believe that. Were you a Viking reenactor?
No, but they kept all the spears and shields in our house, and sometimes when they wasn't there, I'd do a little naked photo shoot.
How did the competition come about then?
Okay, so earlier that day I went for an all-you-can-eat buffet, right, with my friend.
It's a terrible idea on the day of a hot dog eating competition.
Well,
He
I
didn't know,
I
did he?
didn't know. As I left, my brother phoned me and was like, I need you and Big Ryan. Because, like, Ryan's my friend, but people, like, borrow him when things need eating or moving, really.
If any leopards need shooting.
So, so my brother...
So your brother entered a competition?
Yeah, you need 4 people in a team for this hot dog eating competition, and they had 2 dropouts. And I was like, I can't help you, I've just come out of buffet, like I'm full. And he was like, you can do it, and I love a compliment, so I was like, I'll be there. So then I had about 7 hours to get ready for this competition.
We said get ready, just not eat.
I did a few star jumps, tried to make a bit of movement, and then I'd been Googling all day. What you're supposed to do in a hot dog eating competition is you're supposed to wet the bread, because it's quicker to eat bread if you wet it right. The way they do it is you have all the hot dogs on a tray, right, and then they weigh them all, and then the most weight wins, right. So I said to the 3 lads I was with, I was like, boys, you get the hot dogs, I'm going for the buns. So...
That's a great name for an autobiography.
Yeah.
So you're there, the tension's mounting. You're eating a hot dog.
No,
you're on bread.
I said I took the bread.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
No wonder these geese hate you.
And how much did you eat?
Well, we came second. Me and Ryan carried the team. I was a machine. And I was just like swallowing this bread hole, and I was getting a crowd around me. They were like looking at me. The weird thing is though, a couple of months ago, I matched with a guy in a dating app, and he was like, "Hey, about 10 years ago, did you do a hot dog eating competition?" And I was like, "Yeah." And he went, "I've never seen someone destroy bread so manically." And he was like, I was genuinely terrified. And a bit of me was like, yeah.
Right. How do you know Ryan, David?
Well, he let me have a go at painting a parking space with this special contraption.
Did you seek him out?
I was passing with my daughter. It was in the car park outside a hotel. It was a hotel in Cardiff, actually.
Ah.
The parking spaces had already been painted at some point in the past, but the thing is that they'd faded to a certain extent, and the hotel, wishing the whole place to seem spick and span, had commissioned Ryan here to repaint the lines.
Commissioned him? Like an artist?
I'll admit it, I put it in a needlessly poncy way.
David, that's not like you.
What was the contraption?
The contraption was a sort of cuboid on a stick and an accompanying jug. And the cuboid allows a certain amount of the paint to, as it were, leak through in a square pattern. And paint goes on the lines with straight edges, just like you'd want with a parking space.
Right.
And as we walked past, my daughter took an interest.
Right.
And then Ryan said hello, and then he said, "Would you like to have a go?"
Did he say it from the back of his head, the way he sings Meatloaf songs?
He turned to me, he said it to my face. If I'd videoed it, it would have gone viral.
Your daughter took interest, but then you just hogged the thing and did all the...
I didn't hog the thing. The two of us held it together.
I would imagine, Matt, that you know quite a bit about painting parking spaces. So does this add up for you?
It's strange that a professional car park space painter would just let a random bearded man grab his thing.
I am so sorry. When you look at his body of work.
I don't think Ryan has ever used the phrase, "He looks like a random beardy man," in his life. Unless he's looking in the mirror cleaning his teeth.
It's David Mitchell.
That's even worse because we know he's not done car park space painting before. A random guy, maybe he has. We know David's never done that.
If you've ever seen him with his daughter, it's a lovely sight, the two of you together.
It's like the Mitchell family version of going to Alton Towers.
Right, we need an answer. Is Ryan Rosie's musical mate, Josh's hungry helper, or David's paint pal?
Right, well, what do we think of Rosie?
Unless she's misdescribing that video. That video has not got 5 million views.
That would not get 5 million views.
Well, I don't know enough about that world.
I think it's Josh.
Very believable,
yeah.
Well, I didn't think it was Josh until he said, 10 years later, right, I meet this bloke on the apps, right? And I think that's a bit of detail.
Josh is on the apps.
He's added... Is he on the apps?
He's on the apps.
Yeah.
What do you think of David's story, Matt?
I can't see a professional car park space painter just letting a guy take the reins, and it's just not going to happen, is it?
Well, it's illegal.
Stop giving me a go in a Harrier jump jet.
It's time to go for a guess.
You going for Josh?
Yeah.
You're going for Josh?
Yes.
Let's go with Josh.
Saying that it's Josh, okay. Ryan, would you please reveal your true identity?
I'm Ryan, and Josh and I did a hot dog eating contest.
Yes, Ryan is Josh's hungry helper. Thank you very much, Ryan. Which brings us to our final round, Quickfire Lies, and we start with Lee.
I briefly dated a girl from the circus after she flew too far out of a cannon and landed in my lap.
David's team.
Oh, when was this?
This was this morning. No, this was in 1988.
What was her name?
Her name was Lola. She was a showgirl.
Okay. Usually, as I understand it, the firing out of a cannon act, it's It's not actually done with gunpowder, is it?
They make the explosive noise, but actually it's just a spring system.
Yes, but usually the landing place is also within the stage area. They don't tend to fire someone into the crowd.
Of course, it wasn't deliberate.
So what had happened?
Well, it was a combination of overly sprung spring and terrible trajectory.
Okay.
Terrible for them, beautiful for us.
But was it not?
She broke both her legs, but we fell in love.
That was what I was going to say.
She couldn't run off and leave me.
And yet she has.
Yes. How do you know she left me?
I can't imagine it being possible for someone launched in that way to land lightly and non-disastrously.
It wasn't lightly. It wasn't lightly. You haven't met Lola, have you?
No.
I'm surprised she managed to get in the cannon. Very muscular woman. She had to Vaseline herself in every night.
You read off the card that she landed in your lap.
Correct.
Would not crash through your torso be more accurate.
The sentence may be a tad exaggerated and probably should have read, I briefly dated a girl that I met online. But when I told the producers, they said, can we just, I don't know, can she be fired from a cannon?
All right, well, what do you think, Josh?
I think it's true.
It does have the ring of truth.
Yeah.
Rosie?
No.
David?
Well, I think on balance we'll go lie.
They think it's a lie. Lee, was it a lie or was it actually the truth?
It was in fact a lie.
Yes, it's a lie. Lee didn't date a girl from the circus. Oh, that noise signals time is up. It's the end of the show. I can reveal that Lee's team have 2 points and David's team have 3. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time. Good night.
Three emotionally stunted lads trying to make sense of life in small-town Northern Ireland. Press red for new comedy Fun Boys on iPlayer. And living on the actual island from Desert Island Discs with all former guests, Stephen Mangan's In Trouble on BBC Sounds.
Welcome to Would I Lie to You, the show with tall tales and tantalising truths. On David Mitchell's team tonight, an award-winning comedian, podcaster and presenter, it's Chris Ramsey. And she's the model turned actress turned comedian, it's Michelle de Swart. And on Lee Mack's team tonight, she's free from the dragon's den, it's Sarah Davies. And pray for David. Bob's back. We start with round one, Home Truths, where our panellists read out a statement from the card in front of them. To make things harder, they've never seen the card before. They've no idea what they'll be faced with. It's up to the opposing team to sort the fact from the fiction. First up, it's Sarah.
Despite being a wealthy dragon, I recently sold half a tin of paint on eBay for £7.50.
David's team.
You sold it on eBay.
Yeah. What else do you do on eBay?
Buy things. That's the other. Why?
Why did I buy half a tin of paint?
Sell. You said you sold it.
But don't worry, it's going well.
No. You can buy and sell things on eBay.
He told you that.
But always keep the half-used tins of paint in the house.
Yes.
Because in case you need a touch-up and everything,
you need a little
right?
touch-up, don't you?
And then you find 10 years later, don't need that anymore, half a tin of paint, but doesn't go off.
Is there a market for second-hand half-full tins of paint?
It's not really second-hand, because it's brand new.
Man in the green jacket.
Yes, there is a market.
How do you know that?
I pursue it ferociously.
10 years you've left this paint in the corner. Yeah. And then you've opened it, had a look, and you're like, that's good to sell.
You genuinely can use the paint after that long.
That's what you tell them, innit? After when they What's the post and packaging for half a tin of paint?
It was £6.
£6.
So £7.50 for the paint.
Mm-hmm.
Almost as much again for the postage and packaging.
Yeah, but do you know how much a 2.5 litre of paint costs?
I have absolutely
It's
no idea.
A lot of money, mate. It's a lot of money. That is a bargain.
Do you have people that do that for you, David?
Oh, God, yes. She's called Victoria.
Do you paint your turrets?
That's a euphemism, you know.
If I didn't know he knew I called them that.
What are we thinking, Michelle? What do you think of this?
This one's tricky because it's like, yeah, that's why you got money. Because you're selling half a tin of paint.
So you think it could be true?
To me, it seems wild that anyone would do that, but I'm like, that's why you're minted, and I'm not.
I think there, when we were saying it might be true, there was a little glimmer of hope on Sarah's face there.
Yeah.
I think she thought, oh, they're going for it. And I think that in that moment, you betrayed yourself. So I think it's a lie.
I think it's got to be a lie. £7.50.
I think we feel it's going to be a lie.
All right, they're saying they think it's a lie,
Yeah.
Sarah. Was it a lie or was it true?
It is the lie.
It's a lie. Sarah didn't sell half a tin of paint online. Bob, you're next.
I once upset a lot of people after I was hired to film a wedding. Something I'd entirely forgotten.
David's team.
Who hired you to film their wedding?
A very good friend of mine who saw something in me. He was called Dr. King.
All right.
And he had an act. He was a comedian. It was his stage name.
Oh, right, yeah.
And he had little toy rabbits, little furry rabbits on the end of string, about 10 of them. And he would tell a joke. I bought my granddad a snowboard for Christmas. He's been going downhill ever since. And then swing the rabbits.
Right.
Put too much petrol in my car the other day. I couldn't get in it. That was his act.
Someone married this man.
Did I say he was married?
Well, you
did say it was his wedding.
You asked me who asked me to film a wedding.
Okay, I think I asked you who asked you to film their wedding.
Well, in that case, I apologise. I've behaved very badly.
Okay, Dr. King commissioned you to film someone else's wedding.
Yes.
Okay.
I obviously was drawn to Dr. King on account of the rabbits, but also his personality. He was.
Isn't that older, yeah?
Yeah. I don't know why I'm telling you about him, other than the fact I found myself living with him.
What?
And he was a professional gambler. He made his living betting on the horses.
Right.
He would only make a few bets a year. It could be as little as 5. He also did videos of weddings.
And you lived with him?
I lived with him, yeah. He drank 5 pints of milk a day.
Wow, that's a lot of milk.
Isn't it a lot of milk?
Wow. At what stage in your life did you live with Dr. King?
I was probably about 30 years old, I think.
What was his real name? Because you say Dr. King was his stage name as a comedian.
Yeah. I'll say Jerry Knuckles.
Okay.
I don't want to say
So obviously he had to change it to something more amusing for his comedy work.
I'll tell you what's interesting. Nothing to do with the story. His girlfriend was one of the Teletubbies.
Which one?
The green one.
And you said he would only make about 5 bets a year. How do you make enough money from that?
Big bets.
Is that his girlfriend's name? Dr. King and big bets are coming around for lunch again.
There you go. So obviously that's true.
So he ran a business videoing weddings and similar events.
Yes,
did he?
and one Saturday I was asked to go along and be one of the 2 cameras. So I went to this wedding and he said, go down the front and get the bride coming in.
You mean filmer?
Filmer, yeah.
All right. You mean kidnapper?
And you said this angered a lot of people.
No, that didn't anger anyone. What you do is, in those days, is you didn't edit videos, you just gave them all the footage. I go home back to the flat to transfer the little cassettes that are in the VCR onto a VHS.
Onto a VHS. So what happens then?
I did what I was meant to do.
Yes.
Handed it over to the family. And then the next morning, did it say I upset someone? The next morning, there was a knock on the door, like the police.
Yeah.
Bang, bang, bang. And it was the father of the bride.
Oh no, what had you done? What was the footage?
Exactly.
Oh no.
Because the VHS that I gave to the family was a recording of a horse race. So when they turned it on to show the family, it went, and they're off!
Because you had recorded the wrong thing?
I know I'd taken the wrong VHS, which was one of this ties in, because it was one of horse racing.
But you've transferred it from the small cassette that goes in the camera to a VHS.
Yes.
And then just picked up a different VHS.
I mean, it's a long time ago. My memory's fleeting, a bit like a mouse's tear on a hot griddle.
Did you still have the right VHS in the flat? Because that could have resolved matters quite quickly.
Absolutely did. But he did say to us, you've behaved very badly and you should be ashamed of yourselves.
How did the father of the bride know where you lived?
It's on our letter heading.
Michelle, what do you reckon?
The thing is, the story is absolute nonsense. Like, it's ridiculous.
No, actually, when you get into it,
that's what I'm
the
saying.
milk and rabbits aside, it's just Bob took the wrong VHS.
Yes.
If you imagine I once mixed up 2 VHSs, we'd think that was plausible, wouldn't we?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, there we go. Let's move on.
So do you think Bob's been telling you the truth?
I don't want to talk on that subject. You happy to go true?
Yeah. Me gut's saying lie, but...
You think lie, you think true.
Yeah.
We're going to say true. We're going to say true, and then I've just got some things to do. So that's fine. And you can let me know at some point.
You're 100% on this?
I've said what I've said.
Oh.
That's your decision. You're saying it's true.
I'm just trying to, there's a bigger picture. It's a troubled world out there. I think I'm going to address that.
And we'll live with the consequences.
Absolutely.
Okay. They say it's true. Bob, was it true or was it a lie?
I was telling the truth.
It's true. Bob did upset a lot of people when he filmed a wedding.
I must say that is gratifying.
Chris, you're next.
I once had a row with a friend after he did something inappropriate in my car.
Please, team.
So when was this? Probably 15 years ago.
I'm just going to go straight for the obvious question.
Yeah, what type of car?
What type of car was it?
It was a silver Ford Focus.
What was the reg?
Are you serious?
May I ask what your first car was?
A little Ford Fiesta, and you're going to ask us the reg now and point made.
Right. He said he did something inappropriate.
Yeah.
That's it, check the card. But I must say, Chris, you did that very subtly, and I think you got away with it.
Thank you very much.
And what was that inappropriate act?
He brought into my car and consumed a full lasagna.
That is outrageous.
Was it a supermarket ready meal?
It was, one that your mum would do for the full family.
In
a dish.
Fresh from the oven.
Why were you offended?
Because it stank.
Lasagna doesn't stink.
It doesn't afford focus.
The thing about smells is it's all about whether they're appropriate. There are some smells that no one ever likes. And there are some smells that are always pleasant. And then there are other smells that are nice in some circumstances, but wrong. For example, you don't get any shower gel that smells of lasagna, do you? However nice the smell of a lasagna might be in, say, an Italian restaurant.
What did he eat it with?
His mum started coming down the drive, and I thought his mum was coming to tell him, quite rightly, that he couldn't eat a lasagna in the car of someone who was driving to a gig.
Right.
But she was actually just passing him through the window a plate of garlic bread.
Okay, I'd say that's pushing it.
When I said what did he eat it with, I didn't mean what was the accompanying dish. I meant, was there cutlery? Was it bare hands? Did he use an old CD?
It was a knife and fork.
A metal knife and fork?
Yeah.
Okay, so he's now got a metal knife and fork. He's even got the side dish. Has he got a napkin?
It was wrapped around the knife and fork.
Right, it's time to go for a guess.
So what do we think?
True.
Well, you sound convinced.
I'm sorry, Lee, it's a tricky one.
Can I have a more assertive side, please?
False.
Oh, we've just made it
How
harder.
many times have you been on this show, Bob? It's not called Would I False for you, is it?
Get up to your master's office and take your punishment.
Go on!
Sorry, I think it's false.
A lie!
I think it's a lie.
Oh, you two. I'm going to say it's true.
Chris, was it true or was it a lie?
It was true.
Yes, it's true. Chris did have a row with his friend over his car. Our next round is called This Is My, where we bring on a mystery guest who has a close connection to one of our panellists. This week, each of Lee's team will claim it's them that has the genuine connection to the guest, and it's up to David's team to spot who's telling the truth. So, please welcome this week's special guest, Linda. So, Sarah, what is Linda to you?
Yes, this is Linda. She is me on German TV.
Right. Bob, how do you know Linda?
This is Linda, and she allowed me to blow up her caravan.
And Lee, what is your relationship with Linda?
This is Linda. Her monkey beat me at Snap. And I will be taking no further questions.
So there we have it. Sarah's Teutonic twin, Bob's blast buddy, or Lee's primate pal. David, where will you begin?
Okay, so Sarah, in what sense she's you on German TV?
Well, I don't really speak German, so when I do all of my TV in Germany, Linda is my voice. So I say it in English and she translates it for me.
What shows are you on in Germany?
I do loads of shopping telly in Germany.
What's that? What's shopping telly?
When you shop on telly.
You can shop on the internet, you can shop in the shops. How can you shop on telly?
Sorry, are you taking the mickey? You've never heard of television home shopping? Do you ever use that remote control? When you're searching for those adult channels, you must go through that. As soon as I see a blender now, it's all over. Sorry, not blender, Brenda.
I have heard of shopping TV. I've never really watched any.
But you're acting as though the whole concept is alien to you.
Just want to nail the concept. I'm not disputing its existence. German shopping TV.
Yeah.
You're there
Yeah.
saying in English
Yeah.
about the things you're selling.
Yeah.
And then Linda is what stands next to you and translates.
No. She sits in another little room, like in a sound booth. So
And
you never
dubs
see.
you live.
Dubs me live. You never see Linda.
How does she know what you're going to say?
Oh, she is that good As the words are coming out of my mouth, it's like she's in my head and she just knows what to say.
So she's also psychic?
Yep.
What sort of things would you be saying on the show?
And today we've got this fantastic demonstration. I'm
Und
going to
today,
teach you how to
Demonstration
make
fantastique,
things
wo schreibt ihr mal
hard. Using this paper,
Ja.
me, scissors.
Scissors,
this
a
pot
weißen
of glue.
kleinen Burschen backen.
Ja, das ist sehr gut.
They're really good. Are you on by yourself or with a host?
With a host.
So
Always.
the host is speaking in
German.
So
Right.
how do you communicate with the host?
Because when the host starts speaking in German, I've got a little earpiece and Linda talks into my ear and tells me what they're saying in English.
Linda's an unusual name for a German lady, isn't it? Linda?
Linda.
Oh, that was better.
Oh, yeah. Sorry, I should have said Linda.
Is she German?
Well,
I mean, she's not. She's from Accrington and she owns a monkey. But in your story...
I don't know whether Linda is an unusual name in German at all, actually.
How many German women have you known called Linda?
How many German women have you known?
David,
I don't think.
how many women have you known?
Right, David, who would you like to quiz next?
Bob.
Right.
Right, you blew up Linda's caravan.
Yes. Husband's caravan, family caravan.
Right. Okay, tell us how you came to blow it up.
Linda works at the local commercial fishing lakes where I fish down in Kent. She works in the bait shop.
Where does a caravan come into it?
I talk to Linda every time we go. She comes and checks your tickets, checks what you're fishing with and for.
What are the options of fishing for?
Well, you could fish for a carp or you could fish for a perch. You really want to know about fishing?
Yes, that's a good point he made.
Yeah, sorry.
The thing is that we want to get to is the caravan being blown up.
How did you come to blow up her caravan?
Thank you. I got talking to Linda on many occasions, and she told me that her husband is in demolition. And I said how much I would like to blow something up. I think, wouldn't a lot of people? I'm not.
Definitely.
Blow something up.
Who doesn't want to blow something up?
And her husband, is it Len?
I don't know.
Well, we don't know.
Maybe his name's got a question mark in it.
He's called Len Question, exactly. His nickname's Pothole. Pothole.
Pothole?
Yeah, because he comes around unexpectedly or something.
This is not what you want from a demolition expert.
So one time when I was fishing, he said, if you would like to, we have an old caravan in one of our paddocks. And Len said, you can blow it up. And I blew it up.
How did you blow it up?
You're not going to believe me, but one of those.
But did you take any part in placing the explosives in advance?
So let Len set the charges or whatever.
Is that his middle name?
How big an explosion was it?
One side of the caravan went just one side
Straight
of it.
past you.
Straight past Asda, right through town. Bang! So I don't know whether he set it wrong. I was hoping for like
the whole thing.
And what about your gear?
Nothing. I was
nothing.
No. Len Question knows what he's doing. You know, they bring down tower blocks. Len does.
And yet he can't properly wire up a caravan.
Oh, he didn't. No, don't disrespect Len. Len's terrific.
Is that his third name?
I've lost track now. Lee had a pretty mundane claim. Remind us of what it was.
This is Linda. Her monkey beat me at Snap.
And, okay, how do you know Linda?
Well, I don't know her really. I just met her for one day.
And why did you meet her?
Because she wanted me to play Snap with her monkey.
How did she convey that desire to you?
She told someone else.
Who?
A guy called Brian.
Who's Brian?
It's Brian exclamation mark.
Okay, Brian! Who is Brian?
Brian is the producer of a television show called Prove It. Genuinely, prove it! Exclamation mark.
Saying what?
That she had trained her monkey to play Snap, and she trained it so well that it was beating people. I'd been asked to go on the show. And my daughter loves the programme Prove It! Exclamation mark. She's always saying it, you know, I'll say, hey, I'm your father. And she says...
So it was a thing on this TV show.
Correct.
That you had to play Snap against Linda's monkey. What type of monkey?
It's your classic error on the card. I don't write these cards. It was a chimpanzee.
Could the chimpanzee say the word snap?
In chimpanzee world, you don't have to say it. You just have to hit the button.
The button.
The button. One of them is for snap, one of them is for blowing up a caravan. Neither of us were allowed to say snap. We both had a button, and we had to sort of look at each other and then look at the monitor, which was in front of us like that, and then go.
Yeah.
And you look at all these images, and when two of the images are the same on the run, because it's not cards, it's images, he would look a bit wistful when it was a banana. When I say wistful, I don't mean he was wanting to play another card game. Yeah. The purpose of the exercise was because it was a monkey stroke ape sanctuary, and as long as the monkeys could stroke the apes, they were allowed to stay. So, it was a monkey stroke ape sanctuary, and she would teach them how to play Snap.
Had they trained these chimpanzees to do anything else?
One of them presented a shopping channel in German.
So, there we have it. Is Linda Sarah's Teutonic twin, Bob's blast buddy, or Lee's primate pal?
Well, I find myself in the strange situation of thinking that it's Lee.
Can I just remind you?
Yes?
I did say I beat a monkey at Snap.
You said a monkey beat you at Snap.
Yes, I did.
That's right.
No, you're quite right. If you'd said the other thing, I wouldn't have believed that.
I mean, what about Sarah and the shopping channel?
I think there is no doubt that if what she does is dub people into German on shopping channels in Germany, she is most likely to be German, which makes it very suspicious that you didn't just go, yes, she's German.
Yes. The great irony about this conversation, and you never asked me, is she genuinely can speak monkey.
Now, what about Bob and the caravan? You don't seem to be considering that.
That could be true.
I like the idea of like Bob just having a moment of tranquility while fishing and then going, I really want to blow something up.
What's it going to be?
It's Lee.
You think it's Lee?
That's what I think it is. Do you think it's Lee?
I think what you think, Captain.
I think
go for it.
Oh, you are dynamic. I love this. Linda, would you please reveal your true identity?
I'm Linda. And I'm Sarah on German TV.
Thank you very much, Linda. Which brings us to our final round, Quickfire Lies. We start with Michelle.
I once ate a full English in a plain toilet.
When you say plain, not very brightly decorated?
Aeroplane toilet.
Why were you eating it in the loo?
Because, like yourself, I am sensitive to smells and I get outraged.
So you went to the toilet?
Wait, no. Okay, wait, let me explain. When I get on planes or trains and I see people eating, it really does my head in.
I was on a plane once and something was up with the food and they literally gave everyone crisps and everyone opened their crisps and was eating crisps at the same time and it was one of the worst noises in the world.
How do you cope in a restaurant? Do you feel like standing up and going, oh, give it a rest, some of you?
You're on the plane, the full English arrives to your table.
It's outside food.
You brought it on board with you?
Oh, I see.
I didn't want to impose my outside from the plane food on the plane.
Right, so it's for everyone else's benefit.
I am a selfless person. I think we've established that.
So you put the lid down and you're sitting on it, using it as a seat, obviously, or did you sit on the floor and use it as a table? Well, both work.
Yeah, I'm getting to it. All right? I'm just having a think.
I'm just having a think. By which you mean having a remember.
I remember sitting on the toilet like a normal person.
Well, you say that. A normal person who's got the lid down whilst eating a full English breakfast. At least I assume the lid was down.
Yeah.
Well, you never know. You might have been Multitasking.
Yeah. So I'm sat on the toilet having a munch.
Now, when did people see you taking? Did people see you taking the food into the toilet?
No, because they're minding their business, Lee.
My mind's in my business, but I tend to sort of look at people walking into toilets with full English breakfast.
Sarah, what are you thinking?
There's no way that can be true. You would go so far down in my estimations if that was true.
Right, Robert Mortimer.
I think that it's probably a lie. If that helps.
Well, it does, because I need to know what you think, and you've told me. I think it might be true, but I'll go with my team and say it's a lie.
They're saying it's a lie. Michelle, was it a lie or was it the truth?
It is, in fact, sorry, Sarah, I am disgusting. It's the truth.
That's disgusting.
Yes, it's true. Michelle did eat a full English in a plain toilet. Oh, that noise signals time is up. It's the end of the show. I can reveal that David's team have 3 points and Lee's team have 2. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time. Good night.
Big laughs for comic relief as Nikita Kanda and Smash Bengali host a dazzling night of stand-up. The Asian Network comedy on iPlayer. Press red now.